Hi, I'm Jamey from Stonemaier Games. I run a tabletop game publishing company. I'm also the lead designer here, but sometimes I like to play digital games and learn from them as a designer. And so recently I decided to play a game called Wildfrost that I had heard good things about. This is a game in the style of Slay the Spire. It's a game where you are deck building and you are going through a series of obstacles, and whenever you complete an obstacle, you get to add more cards to your deck. You gain like a few surprise cards and add them to your deck, and then you continue on moving. And Wildfrost, I've had a lot of fun with it so far. One is, well, I'll end with kind of the minor things. My favorite thing, let's start out with that, is the countdown timer in the game. The game uses countdown timers in some really interesting ways, where it builds these little countdown timers into every single card and into some other elements of the game. So in this game, Wildfrost, you have a battlefield, basically a small battlefield of cards. They're either characters or companions or enemies on the battlefield. And for example, when I have on my very first turn, I have to play my companion. My character, not companion. My character, me, is represented by a card that is actually on the battlefield. I'm not just kind of abstracted to play in this deck. My character is on the battlefield, and if that character dies, then I lose the run. I lose the challenge. And that character has a countdown timer. I think my character, I've played through a few already, and my character had, I think, a countdown timer of 4. And that means every turn of the game, every turn involves me taking a turn and the opponent taking a turn. Every turn, that countdown timer decreases by 1. And when it reaches 0, then that character's ability goes off. It does something special and powerful and awesome, and it also attacks. It attacks the opposing characters, the enemy characters. And then it resets. That countdown timer resets. Companions that I can play. So there are other cards in my deck. There's some cards in my deck that directly impact the opponent's cards, the cards in play. There are also some cards called companion cards that enter play next to, in front of, behind, wherever I want to position them, my character card, and they also have countdown timers. So it's good in the game to get those cards out as soon as possible, to get those countdown timers counting down. And so they have these countdown timers with abilities that trigger as well. The enemies also all have these countdown timers, so you have to decide, well, part of it is nice. It means that these enemies aren't doing something to you every turn. But partially, you have to decide in what priority am I going to put these different enemy characters? Which ones am I going to try to take out from the battlefield before their timer counts down? Which ones am I going to try to slow down with this snowball mechanism where you can slow down a counter or temporarily pause it? There's even cards where you can speed up a timer if you want to speed up one of your own characters or companions' countdown timer. In addition to that, there's also a countdown timer for when new enemy cards will enter play. So you kind of have it, well, you know exactly when new enemy cards are going to enter play. You don't know what cards they are, but you know when they're going to enter play. And last, there's also a countdown timer for it's called like your bell. And on your turn, you can use your turn if you'd like to ring your bell, and when you do, you discard your hand and draw a new hand of cards. So unlike most deck building games, where every turn you are playing multiple cards and then refreshing your hand at the end of that turn, that is not the case in Wildfrost. Instead, you are playing exactly one card, and you don't ever, by default, draw cards. You only draw cards if you ring that bell. However, the bell has a countdown timer, and instead of using your entire turn to ring that bell, if that countdown timer is at 0, or has been at 0, it doesn't reset automatically. If it has been at 0, you can ring that bell, not use your turn, and discard and refresh your entire hand. And so that feels really good, and it's an interesting choice in the game. Do I want to ring that bell at a time where it's going to take my entire turn, or do I wait? Do I wait until until it doesn't require my entire turn to ring that bell? All these mechanisms tied to the countdown timer I think are really clever, as well as the fact that my character is a card in play. I can have companions that join my character in play, and that there's a spatial element there. Two other little things I've enjoyed about the game so far. One, the music is fantastic. It's really delightful to look at and hear the music. And 2, I thought this was really clever. I wish I had a visual for you. You can look online and see what this game looks like. But whenever you gain a companion, the companion comes with a name on the card, but because this is a digital game, the game actually allows you to edit that name when you gain that companion. And so I think I have an image on the thumbnail of this video where it shows the name editor, where you can decide at the moment where you gain the companion to just give them a new fun, silly, or thematic name if you'd like. And that card in your deck has that name from then on. It has a little bit of a legacy feel to that, where you're naming a character as you've drawn this card for the first time. So yeah, Wildfrost, I've really enjoyed that. If you enjoy Slay the Spire, I think you'll definitely enjoy this game. There's even more that I haven't talked about, probably a ton that I haven't discovered yet, but those mechanisms I think are really interesting, especially that countdown mechanism. Let me know if you've seen that in any other game. There are countdown mechanisms like in the tabletop game Sulkin, a game that I really, really love. Other games that use time as a mechanism. Sometimes it can be a bit cumbersome to manage that time. So I think it's really well done in a digital format, especially when you have lots of different mechanisms, including a lot of different cards that have that countdown timer. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below if you have also played Wildfrost. Thanks.